We've all seen it. You have one person who excels and succeeds while another person never measures up and fails. And they both come from the same area, the same neighborhood, the same street, and sometimes the same parents. Today we're going to talk about something that if you avoid it, it can wreck your life. That and more after the bumper.
You're watching That Christian Fam.
Thank y'all for joining us on That Christian Fam, aka The King's Realm. Go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure that you share this content and make sure you comment on this video. I don't do everything right at all, y'all, and I mean at all. But one thing that has been said about me in my corporate America career, they love the fact that I take ownership. I don't just leave it up to the next person to handle. I'm going to try to fix it, and I'm going to take ownership for it and not leave it for someone else to fix. I'm just going to go ahead and try to fix it and take control of the situation so it doesn't keep on being a problem. So they love the fact that I got things taken care of. All right, y'all, I don't know how to keep talking without saying it, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. The phrase is personal responsibility. If you avoid taking personal responsibility, it can drastically hold up or even ruin your life. What does personal responsibility look like? We're gonna hit a few situations to paint the picture. It can be tricky, but let's look at relationships. If you've ever had professional counseling in a relationship, the first thing that the counselor is going to ask you to do is inward reflect. Like, what is it about you that you may need to change? What is it about you that you may be doing wrong? What is it that you're doing or not doing that may be detrimental to the relationship? It may be painful to do, but it's necessary. If you're talking about careers and you're disgruntled with your career, well, you can't get upset about where your career is if you continue to come to work late, if you continue to take unauthorized breaks and things like that. Like, don't be surprised if you don't move ahead within your career if you constantly doing things that you're not supposed to be doing. Kids acting up in school. Now listen, we're in quarantine right now, so there's a lot of folks, there's a lot of parents out there that's apologizing to teachers right now because they went up to the school and acted a fool and made it seem like the teacher was tripping, when in fact now y'all realizing that, you know what, maybe it was actually my child that was acting up and it wasn't so much the teacher. And so again, that comes back to personal responsibility. Maybe you're just too soft on your kids and that's why they act up in public and that's why they act up in school. It's not the teacher's fault, it's the kid's fault, and that directly points back to you. I know kids can act up no matter how well you parent them, but that's a whole nother story. If you're an athlete and you don't get the playing time or your athletic career doesn't progress the way you want to, don't get mad at the person that's getting the playing time. Ask yourself this question: did you put in the work that that person put in? Did you stay after practice and do the extra drills that that person did? Or did you do the bare minimum and assume that you were just going to start? When it comes to health, you can't blame the devil and say, well, you know, I got this diabetes that's acting up and you know, that ain't nothing but the devil. But did you examine your diet or did you just lump it off on the devil and say the devil's the one doing it? Like, which one is it? When it comes to weight, you can't blame the food system and say, oh, well, you know, it's all this stuff and all these hormones that they're putting in this food. Yeah, that may be a small part of it, but the majority of it happens to be a problem with fork to mouth. The majority of the problem falls on us with eating too much or eating the stuff that we ain't supposed to be eating. When it comes to getting a job, are you just going to sit back and say, well, you know, the man is trying to oppress me, or the man is keeping me back, the man is holding me back, or are you actually out there applying for jobs like you supposed to? Like, you can't sit up here and say that it's anybody else's fault for you not having a job if you're not even putting yourself in the ring to be selected. When it comes to Christianity and your spiritual walk with Christ, you can't look at the whole Christian walk and say, oh, well, you know, the Christian walk is flawed and I'm gonna just go ahead and explore this other religion, when in fact you ain't even been reading the Bible to know what's right and what's wrong, what you're supposed to be doing, what you ain't supposed to be doing, and how right the Christian faith is. If you're not even exploring your own Christianity, your own faith, how you gonna say it's flawed? Again, taking the easy road and the cop out and saying, well, you know, it's flawed and I'm just gonna go ahead and explore this other faith, this other false religion, when in fact the truth of the matter is you're not taking personal responsibility and exploring the word of God on your own. 2 Timothy 2:15 says, study to show yourself approved, a worker that needs not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. It could be something as simple as taking a road trip and not having a spare tire, and then when you get a flat on the side of the road, sit up there and say, well, you know, this is just bad luck. No, ain't no such thing as luck, and it's not bad luck at all. The fact of the matter is you did not plan for the trip. You did not not pack a spur, you do not have AAA, and that's why you busted and disgusted on the side of the road. 1 Corinthians 13:11 says, when I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood as a child, I thought as a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. Could it be that some of us are still fooling with childish things and then wonder why we can't make grown-up decisions? Everybody wants to be grown. A lot of us get fooled into thinking that when we hit 18 or 21, that makes us a grown-up. That just makes it legal for you to partake in certain things and sign contracts, but it doesn't make you an adult. I've seen people 22 who act like they 12, and I've seen people who are 16 that conduct themselves like they 25. Being grown is not just your age, but even more so your mentality. It's liberating to take personal responsibility. It may seem like you're putting yourself on the hook, but in actuality, you're taking control. And before y'all third heaven folks come for me, I already know ultimately God is in control, but the real folk know what I'm talking about. With personal responsibility, there's nowhere to run, there's no one else to blame, no one else to be mad at, and on top of it all, you rid yourself of the choice to be victim to someone else's decision making. The only person you have to deal with is the person in the mirror. Personal responsibility. I hope I helped somebody on the other side of this video. If you offended, I really don't care. This is Jermaine from That Christian Fam, aka The King's Realm, where we shape our worldview around God's reality. I'm out.
It's a dread hanging, bot bringing, God singing to my casket closed. Theo Blue never had to shoot, never had the tool that my past to close. Theo Blue never had to lose, my composure never let the gasket blow. I can see that you just mask it though. Heart is colder than an Eskimo. I learned your motive.